Hello, Facebook friends. Noreen here, and it is Thursday, November 14th. Yeah, so we're going to do a little bit something different. I was really thinking about how I share things with you, and the YouTube channel and the blog have kind of been a bit neglected lately as I've been working on other things. And I really enjoy doing the Facebook Lives with you. And so I was thinking, well, how can I kind of do all of this with a little bit less work, a little bit less stress on me, trying to balance. But I was really thinking that what if I do live projects with you, and then I take the Facebook video that basically, gets recorded at the same time as I broadcast, and then I can do a couple of little edits on that and upload it to the YouTube channel and also create the blog post. So I'm going to try that, see how it goes. I struggle with finding enough time to film and edit videos. That's always the biggest kind of time suck. It's not the easiest thing for me. And when I film videos for the YouTube channel, typically I am so worried about getting everything right. Whereas on Facebook Live, I feel like I'm just talking to you. And if something goes wrong, oh well, we just keep going. So I thought to myself, you know what? It's probably more natural, more authentic, and less sort of staged if I just upload the Facebook Live video. So that's what I'm going to try to do, okay? So tonight we're going to do the October and November blog, 1, 2, 3. And they're already on the blog. I just clicked publish on the blog. So as soon as you're finished here, you can head over to the blog and you can download both of the handouts. So the first one is a throwback to Halloween. I had this ready before I went into the hospital, but obviously didn't film it, didn't get it up on the blog, etc. So we're going to do this one first. And of course, you can go back to Halloween this year and use the photos from a couple weeks ago. You can use Halloween photos from years previous. Or if you're not into Halloween, you can take the ideas that I'm going to show you, not use Wicked Cute, use something else, and then just follow the sketch. So here is the layout. I quite like this one. I always think that Wicked Cute is a sweet little collection there, and I especially love these little ghosts, and it's just very sweet and not scary at all. So this particular layout, as you can see, I'm going to just switch over to the sketch here. As you can see that the sketch, we've got room for 6 photos and kind of a good mix of horizontal and vertical. And of course, this is a really easy cut. The other thing you could just, do for a little bit of variety is, of course, reverse this, do a mirror image so that the horizontal photos are on the left-hand side of the page and the vertical photos are on the right. So you've got a little bit of options here, okay? And of course, I was mentioning that you can go over and get a copy of the handout right away on the blog. I'm going to do the layout for you with a different piece of paper. I used up the other piece of that particular star and stripes paper, so I'm going to use one that has the turquoise and bats on one side, and then kind of a nice, almost kind of reads as a monochrome, but it's little tiny diamonds. So we're going to use that. And I'll get rid of the sketch here for now, but the cutting guide is really simple, just 3 straight cuts. And you're going to cut, I like to cut from this side actually, and I'll show you why in a second when I get on my trimmer out, but you're going to cut at 0.5 inches, half an inch. Then you're going to cut at 1 inch so that you have 2 0.5 by 12 inch strips, 2 half-inch by 12-inch strips, okay? Then on the remaining piece of paper, you're going to cut it, it would be 5.5 inches on a full-size sheet of paper. But basically, you're going to cut a 4.5 inch strip, and then you're going to end up with a 6.5 inch strip, okay? So let's go ahead and do the cutting. And as I mentioned, I like to, when I'm doing small cuts, I like to go to this side of the trimmer because it's, just more of the paper is on the trimmer bed. If you do it over this way, I find that the weight of the paper sometimes will kind of make this, yeah, pop up or slide off. So anything less than an inch or so, I like to do on this side of the trimmer. Okay, and I've just got my straight blade in there. There's a quick ½ inch, another ½ inch here. There's our second cut. And then, as I said, on the full-size sheet, this measures at 5.5. Since we've already cut off 1 inch, we're going to go to 4.5. So we're going back to this side now for the larger measurements. And that is all our cutting for that one. Okay, so I've got some black cardstock here as my base. I used aqua in the sample. But basically, you're going to take your 4.5 inch strip, put it right there, butting right up to the seam, the center seam. Your 6.5 inch there, again, butting right up to the center. And then your little tiny strips are just going to kind of be these accent strips on the edge. Okay, so of course you've got lots of options. You could, flip over some of your strips here, whatever side you like and you want to feature. You can see that that would give it a different look. And as I mentioned, you could do a mirror image. Okay, so that's what I mean by versatility. You can certainly switch out your papers and or the sides of the layout that you want to add things onto. So let's just do it again according to the sketch. All right, so that's according to the sketch. Grab the sketch again. All right, now I'm going to put my 6 photos on here, and I just pre-cut some orange cardstock. Just a reminder, I like to, there's my 4x4. I like to make, if I'm using mats or when I'm showing you guys the placement of photos, I like to cut the mats to the same size as I've indicated on the sketch. So in other words, sorry, just get that back where it needs to go. In other words, I've indicated that this is a 6x4. This is actually a 6x4. It's not 6¼ by 4¼ okay? And again, I want to reiterate that that's for 2 reasons. I'm cheap, so I want to get the maximum amount of photo mats cut from a single piece of cardstock. So if you cut 4.5 by 6.5, then you have a lot of waste. If you cut 4x6s, 4x4s, etc., you're going to have a lot less waste, okay? And also, I think I've told you this before as well, but when I, here's just another photo. I'm working on a project for this. When I print out my photos at home, I don't know if you can see that little tiny line there. So when I trim my photos, they're slightly smaller than a true 4x6. So if I make 4x6 mats, then I just trim my photo down to 5¾ by 3¾ and then that fits just nicely. Okay, so that's what I did there. And then you can see that where I've used my stickers, but there's some really cute stickers. You could certainly add another little border along here. In my sample layout, come back to that now. In my sample layout, I used the little witch, and I had another sticker pack open, so I used the moon, the word boo, and one of the banners. I cut the fence. This was the fence. I cut it in half and used half on each side here. And then I added my little ghosty goblins there. And I just wanted to give you a really quick little tip. This is just a little path that I cut out from a piece of black cardstock. So what I did is I just literally put the cardstock up against there, and I just kind of drew a little pathway. So it was kind of smaller at the top, larger at the bottom, and then I just cut it out and added it right onto the layout, and then I raised up my little ghosts up on top. Okay, so that's a really easy way to add a little detail and kind of give it some grounding. I kind of liked creating these sort of little scenes, like a little graveyard scene, a little house scene, and then kind of the witch flying off into the distance. Okay, so that is the October layout. Again, on the handout that you can get in on the blog, there's links to it in the blog post. It's available in the OCM shop. You're going to see the sketch, the cutting guide, some general instructions, and then a copy of this. So let's move on to November. So we're going to use festive plaid paper, and we're going to use Merry Little Christmas embellishments. Okay, so I'm going to talk about those in just a second. And here is the November layout. 1, 2, 3, and this one we've got 7 photos on. So again, 4 horizontal, and you've got room for 3 vertical. On the sketch, I actually show you, let me switch over to it just now here. On my sketch, I show putting the journaling up in the upper corner, upper left-hand corner, along with the title. So that's what I've done on my layout. But of course, you could also put it in the lower right-hand corner where I've got those other star embellishments, okay? And again, you can see that this could be flipped so that you could have the title on the right-hand side page instead of the left, okay? And with our cutting guide for this one, again, really nice, easy, straight cuts, no stacking, no turning, no flipping. They're going to be just straight ahead. Cut at 2 inches, then cut at 4 inches, and that will give you 2 2-inch by 12-inch strips. Then you're going to cut the remaining sheet in half. It would be 8 inches if you were looking at a full-size piece of paper, but basically we're going to cut it at 4. Okay, so let's go back here. The plaid is fun to work with, but sometimes, depending on the orientation and the repeat of the pattern, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky. So with this particular plaid, I actually had to cut a 2-inch strip off of one side of the paper, and then I cut the 2-inch strip off the opposite side so that I had 2 pieces that were basically the same. So again, you'll always want to look at your plaids or your overall patterned papers to see where the repeats are so that you can do that. So with this one, for example, if I cut down there, you know, this is about a 2.5, maybe a 2 3/4 inch repeat. So if I cut down there and then I cut the other 2-inch strip off that side, they would both pretty much be the same. So you can see how that would work. This one again is a very regular plaid, so you would probably want to try and cut your 2-inch strips off of either side. If you cut 2-inch here, it might not be the exact same 2 inches from where you cut. Does that make sense? So let's go ahead and cut this one, and I'll show you what I mean. Again, I used the green and black and then red plaid on this one. I'm going to use the black and red with green plaid on this side, and I'm just going to use the white cardstock and some red photo mats. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 inches here. That's my first cut. And let me get my cutting guide out so I can double check. So instead of cutting right here, because you see that that's not going to be exact. Oh, actually, it's pretty close. It's pretty close. But if it wasn't the same, then I would cut over on this side at 2 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that because I know that it's going to be the same. And that way, when I butt those two up together, might have to fool around with it a little bit, but you can see that they're going to meet really nicely in the middle, and then the pattern just kind of goes across the page. Okay, so anyways, there's my 2-inch, and I've got an 8-inch piece left. I'm just going to cut that in half so that I end up with 2 4-inch by 12-inch pieces. So here, these are going to go pretty much in the middle. I would normally kind of measure them, but I'm just going to eyeball them there for now. Okay, then I'm going to flip over these ones, the red and black, and that's going to, one part is going to go above and the other part is going to go below. All right, and then these spaces, let me just grab my photo mats here. These spaces are going to be filled in with photos or matted photos. So got 2 verticals, sorry, 2 horizontals there, 2 horizontals down here, 1 vertical, so I can see now that I've put that one that I'm up a little high, so I would just adjust that. You're going to end up being about 10 inches, so an inch above and an inch below. That's a little better. Move everything else down. Okay, get the idea. And then these 2 will be down here. Okay, so that's pretty much the layout. Okay, there's that, there's that. And again, you could switch this around. You know, you've got lots of different options. You could even have it like that. You know, you could flip this around. Once you get your kind of your pages done, you could have all of the photos across the top and all of the plaid across the bottom, however you like. Okay, so play with that until you're happy with the layout. There we go, kind of back to what it was, back to what the sketch shows anyways. But yeah, you've got lots and lots of variation. Now, the other thing I want to mention with plaids is anytime you have a very straight, not the diagonal, but a straight plaid, use those as kind of guidelines. So, you know, you want to have about the same amount of plaid showing on both sides. You know, kind of use those as a bit of a guideline when you're placing your photos. You can use it to, you know, make sure that you have about the same amount in between photos, that kind of thing. So plaids can be a little tricky, but if you just kind of keep an eye on where everything is and where all of the lines are going, you should be okay. All right. Now for the embellishments, again, we've got an embellishment kind of cluster and journaling up here, and then room for another cluster down here. And all I did for this journal, I was actually looking through the mat cards, and there was lots and lots of different things. That's the end part there. There was lots and lots of different journaling boxes that I could have used. So I really love the mat cards. When you look through them, you know, there's a ton of different things. You know, one of those little mat cards could have been a perfect little journaling box there. But I chose to basically just trim the tag right off from that mat card, okay? And then I just added one of the stickers. It says "Joy to the World." That was quite the large one here. And a banner sticker just on top. Okay, and again, look at how everything's touching and overlapping. That's what I always talk about with clusters, okay? Everything touches, overlaps, connects, clusters together, okay? So, and then just a couple of little gems and hollies. And then down here, that was the large Christmas tree, a present, and a little "Do Not Open." So those were the Merry Little Christmas mat cards and stickers. I know that the laser cut embellishments are back in stock, but the embellishment pack with the gems is not back in stock yet. But, you know, I really like the stickers, and I'm a sticker gal. I think there's lots and lots of cute icons and borders and that kind of stuff. So I typically buy 2 packs of stickers for every one paper pack that I buy, because I like to use those stickers. They're nice and big. They've got a good mix of words, etc. Okay? All right, and then don't forget that on the blog post, you will also find the November handout with the sketch, cutting guide, instructions, and layout. So a couple of things before I let you go. Next week, I'm going to be on the Creative Scrapbooker Magazine Facebook on Tuesday, November 19th, I think it is, at 7 p.m. And I'm going to be doing some Christmas tags. I've got some fun ideas for that. So you'll want to join on the Creative Scrapbooker Magazine Facebook page. And then I'll do a Facebook Live here on Thursday night. So a week from tonight, which would be the November 21st, Thursday, November 21st. So I'm going to be doing my December daily project. Again, Ali Edwards. If you haven't been over to aliedwards.com to see what a December daily is all about, I've been doing those for many, many years. I've got a few different ones on my blog that I've done in the past, so you can check those out. But next Thursday, I'm going to be getting my little December Days mini album set up. And the following week, what we'll do is probably start on some Christmas cards. So lots and lots of fun things kind of coming up. Don't forget, I think it's already been over about 160 comments suggesting names for the next year's Scrap Your Stash course. We had just under, I think it was 297 ladies joined our Scrap Your Stash 2019, and we're making a few changes based on participant feedback, and registration for that will open on December 1st. But you have a chance to win one of 10 spots in the course with free registration by suggesting a name. So make sure you go to the pinned post or the blog post that tells you all about the contest, and make sure you put your name in for that by Sunday. Thanks so much. Love you guys lots, and we will see you again soon. All right, take care. Happy scrapping. Bye for now.